You think I wanted this? All right, I wanted this. Who the
It seems that about 15 minutes had passed since they left the elevator. We can only imagine the brutality that took place behind closed doors.
In Guarapuava, Brazil, 29-year-old Tatiana Spitzner was out drinking and celebrating her husband's 32nd birthday. The young lawyer had been married to university professor Louis-Philippe Manvallier for 5 years. While they appeared a happy couple behind closed doors, Tatiana lived through constant suffering at the hands of her abusive husband. For years, Manvallier took her money, cut up clothes that he disapproved of, and physically assaulted her daily. Despite the signs and warnings, her friends and family did not try to help, referring to the Brazilian adage to not stick a spoon in other couples' affairs. During the celebration, Tatiana discovered messages between other women and her husband. On their drive home, she confronted him in an intense argument that erupted as they arrived at their apartment. Security footage shows Manvallier abruptly stop the car and forcefully strike his wife across the face. The footage follows them entering the parking garage, where it appears she refuses to exit the car. Enraged, Louis rushes over and rips her out of the passenger door. Then he rams her against the vehicle and pulls her face close, tightening his hands around her neck. It's unknown what he said to his wife in this moment, but despite being accustomed to her husband's frequent abuse, she sensed her life was on the line. So as he walks towards the elevator, she attempts to hide from him behind a support beam. Footage catches Louis realizing she's gone and his sinister walk in search of his wife. Upon discovery, Tatiana manages to escape his grasp and sprint away in terror, but he was just an arm's distance away. He made it to the elevator, entered, and jammed the button to close the doors, but wasn't quick enough as Manvallier rushes in, grabs her, and slams her body against the wall before tapping the floor of their unit. A few seconds later, the elevator doors abruptly open and Tatiana attempts to flee once again, but was pulled back in by her husband for one final desperate fight for her life. This is the last footage of Tatiana Spitzner alive. It's unknown what abuse Manvallier subjected the young lawyer to inside of the apartment, but footage from a security camera outside caught the harrowing moment her body plummets to the ground from 4 floors above, just 15 minutes after they exited the elevator. Witnesses reported calling police after seeing a man pick up a bloody corpse off the sidewalk. However, before officers could arrive, Louis is caught by cameras retrieving her dead body, carrying it into the elevator, and hauling it back to their apartment. After placing her body in the apartment and changing his bloody clothes, Louis returned to the elevator to remove any evidence. In chilling footage, he emotionlessly wipes his wife's blood from the walls and floors. On his final descent in the elevator, he's caught doing one final spot check of the walls, and then enters his car and drives away from the murder scene, leaving his wife's broken corpse in their apartment. When police discovered Tatiana's fractured body inside the apartment, they launched an investigation and initiated a manhunt for Louis Manvallier. However, they were unable to find him within Guarapuava. He was finally discovered 185 miles away, attempting to flee to Paraguay, but lost control of his car after driving through the night and crashed. He was arrested at the scene and told officers that after he and his wife entered the apartment, she became hysterical and jumped off the balcony. He stated that he fled the scene because he was too disturbed by images of his wife's body hitting the pavement. Autopsy report on Tatiana's body determined that her injuries were consistent with a fall from 40 feet. However, handprints were identified around her neck, and her hyoid bone, which is located in the front of the neck, was fractured, an injury commonly associated with strangulation. It was also discovered that her body showed no evidence of chemical reactions to produce adrenaline or cortisol, which both would indicate fear and awareness of falling, so her death was ruled a homicide by strangulation. She died before her fall to the earth began. Louis-Philippe Manvallier underwent a 7-day trial to determine if he murdered his wife, and after deliberations, he was found guilty of homicide and obstruction of justice by a jury of 7 men. He was sentenced to 31 years in prison, and the judge also ordered the university professor to pay $25,000 to the victim's family. This was a landmark case in the fight against femicide, a growing epidemic of fatal abuse by men against women. Women worldwide are attempting to raise awareness and fight back against the deadly abuse. Remember, if you see something, say something. If you're a victim of domestic abuse, please call 800-799-7233 for help.
I used to.
Man, this video, that right there was crazy for the simple fact. If you had all these other females, why you still tripping on her? Why you just couldn't let her go so she could live her life and be happy with somebody else or by herself? You have to kill her by strangulation. And it's amazing how these forensic people can find out so much stuff on how somebody, you know what I'm saying, died and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know your body gives off, like, y'all heard what they was saying, but that's all new to me. These numbers right here, y'all go ahead and call if you are experiencing any of this. I don't know if that apply to us, but there's always numbers somewhere, some way, somehow you can get help. Man, I lost a sister to this in June. So, you know what I'm saying? This don't even sit right.
You think I wanted that? All right, I wanted this! Who the you?
A rising TikTok sensation and influencer who seemed to have it all threw it all away by committing a horrific crime. This is the story of Jinn Kid. Ali Abdullah Ban is a 29-year-old who started making TikToks for fun while living in Virginia under the name Jinn Kid. His TikToks consisted mostly of videos of him impersonating characters from the video game Skyrim, which he turned into a series called Skyrim in Real Life. He would also make videos impersonating public figures such as Tony Montana from the movie Scarface, as well as popular rappers such as 6ix9ine.
What the f you doing, huh? Where'd you get those clothes? I dead was wondering the same thing.
As many of these videos started to go viral, his TikTok grew to almost 1 million followers. His Instagram and YouTube channel also had thousands of followers and subscribers, all under the name Jinn Kid. His following on social media motivated him. He had dreams of pursuing a career in acting. Abdullah Ban also had a wife at the time, 29-year-old Anna Abdullah Ban, and the couple had a daughter as well. Ali describes their life in Virginia as the American dream and that the couple were happy together. According to Ali, it was only when the couple moved to California in February of 2021 where everything started to go downhill. The two settled on the 35th floor of a luxury high-rise apartment in San Diego. While living in California, Ali started showing signs of a downward spiral, which included drug use. When asked about using cocaine, Ali said, "It made me violent. It made me aggressive when I'm on it." Yeah, it got to the point where Anna kicked him out of the apartment and she stayed there with their 5-year-old daughter. She also was allegedly attempting to file a restraining order against him. What Anna didn't know was that Ali had secretly made a copy of the apartment key. One day, when Anna was not home, Ali broke into the apartment using the copied key and installed an app on his daughter's iPad which recorded audio from inside the apartment that he was able to listen to. Later on, while using the app to listen into Anna's apartment, Ali had heard the voice of 29-year-old Rayburn Barron, who was Anna's friend. Ali heard the two laughing together and he got into his car and drove to the apartment. When he arrived, he opened the door to the apartment and claimed he saw them sitting on the couch together. Ali then pulled out a gun and shot them both. Unfortunately, neither one survived. After the shooting, Abdullah Ban left the apartment to go pick up his daughter from school to drop her off with family. While driving on the highway, he was pulled over by police. They arrested him and found a gun in his car. Ali was locked up in jail without bail and he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. After he was arrested, Ali gave an interview from jail in which he talks about the loss of his wife but does not directly admit that he killed her, although he was heard on the phone with his mother confessing to the murder.
Did you kill her?
Ali had claimed that he got upset when he had heard the other man's voice in her apartment.
To see her kissing Ray on my couch with his feet on my table with my
He thought that she was about to cheat on him, although the couple were already separated from each other.
How do you expect a man to feel?
The ongoing trial is an emotional one, as Ali and Anna's families have been present. Ali had several outbursts as Anna's heartbroken family is there to watch.
At his wife, leaving 1 gunshot wound in her forehead, again from close range.
Several people spoke out against Ali. One of Ali and Anna's neighbors testified to the court, recalling an incident in which Anna came to the neighbor's apartment for help and for a phone after a domestic violence incident in which Ali had taken hers. Ali's cousin recalls confronting Ali on his cocaine use, worrying that he would get his family in trouble, and Ali responded with, "I'm Jin Kid. I can do whatever I want. Nobody can touch me." Anna's longtime best friend, Cassie Conroy, also spoke out against Ali, saying he's a bad guy. There's nothing good about him. He's selfish. That's all I can say. Selfish. Anna is missed by her friends and family, who are heartbroken over the situation. Anna was a rising TikTok influencer as well, and she posted many videos of herself, her friends, and her family. A GoFundMe was set up for the other victim, Rayburn Barron, on which it said Rayburn dedicated his life to always putting his family first. Ray made an impact on so many lives with his love and thoughtful acts. Ali is still on trial for these tragic crimes and is not only facing life in prison, but also the death penalty if the prosecutors choose to pursue it.
That's sad. You start doing good for your family and everything, making all that money, was able to get a nice place in San Diego. Now, I know California in general is high, and San Diego is definitely high. I know in Chula Vista, a nice little decent 2-bedroom is like $2,500. And that's just for the 2-bedroom, that's just rent. So I know wherever he was at, that thing was costing, so you was doing very well. But when you mixed in some bad product like Coke into what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? This is what made him become somebody his wife didn't like. I mean, that's right, his wife. So it was like she loved who you was. Y'all even had a kid together. But yet you doing what you doing and let the money, the fame, all that go to your head, and look what happened. You destroyed so much. So many lives. I never really get guys that do stuff like this. Like, what are you getting out of it? As we all know and can see, you get nothing out of this. Everybody lose. So what's the point of being stupid doing stuff like this, you know? I never understood people like that. I'd rather for somebody to be feeling good, happy, instead of being in this situation, everybody destroyed and hurt.